Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to welcome tonight's participants all over the globe. Thank you for joining us in this wonderful evening, and welcome to the Institute of Global Professionals free webinar. We appreciate you all for joining, and please stay with us till the end. My lovely audience, today I am your host for the evening, Ellen Joy P. Ongriano, a secondary school teacher at Bonbon National High School under the Department of Education in the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, dear audience, it is my honor to be associated with the Institute of Global Professionals as a global member. I feel honored and privileged to host this webinar. I'm sure that this webinar will provide you with a lot of takeaways and payoffs. So we hope to have you all actively participate until the end of this webinar. As we indulge ourselves in today's meaningful discussion, let's take a time to like, comment, and share this great opportunity by mentioning your friends and colleagues in the comment box. So let's watch and learn together because in IGP, we believe that power is gained by sharing knowledge and not hoarding it. Again, I'm Ellen Joy Ungriano, a core volunteer and a professional member in IGP from the Philippines. I have been a radio announcer for more than 8 years now, a proud practitioner of the teaching profession, and a volunteer emergency responder and an advocate of continuous learning development. The IGP continues to grow in members worldwide and our worldwide link each day. So now before starting our program, let me tell you all about IGP to our dearest audience who is having their first time subscribing to our webinars. The IGP or the Institute of Global Professionals is an institution that provides social work, and we believe that it's not effective to increase one's skills just by acquiring formal education. So we provide effective training and consultation to generate proficient generation all over the world. Institute of Global Professionals serves students and community resource, providing holistic social work and education to create a proficient generation. We are a leading online skill development institute with thousands of learners worldwide. We make it get at the table to use for every knowledge seeker to originate personality, to develop or to become more ambitious, and to develop confidence in facing circumstance and develop our own skills. We are interested with international recognition as we organize our webinars, trainings, offline and online courses by our best and trained speakers and coaches, of course, from all over the world in order to create the best learning platform for all of us. Our mission is to empower people and to enhance what we have already completed for the past 404th webinars, which were all implemented and executed to everybody successfully. So we expect that as you become a part of this honored institute, you will continue to grow your personal and professional life. Let me remind you again, please, don't forget to share, tag, and comment, and mention your friends in the comment box because your attachment or your encouragement to other people encourage us to do better and best service to our lovely audience. Our mission is to empower our youth, so stay with us by your support. Once again, I am cordially welcoming everyone. So today we are presenting the 405th webinar, which is entitled Money Management Skills and Saving Tricks. With our resource speaker for this webinar, she is an instructor of Pangasinan State University in Business Administration in Computing in Pangasinan, Philippines. So please help me in welcoming Ma'am Charmaine P. Pintes.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Good evening, all the viewers around the world. And good evening, Ma'am Ellen.
Good
Thank you
evening,
for
ma'am.
welcoming me and gracing us with your presence.
Okay, so tonight we will have Ma'am Charmaine to proceed with the rest or the webinar proper for tonight. Once
Okay,
again,
thank
ma'am,
you.
welcome.
Let me just share my screen. Hold on. Thank you very much, Ma'am Ellen. Okay, let me just give an introduction of myself. I am, please call me Charm, and I am a licensed professional teacher. And I also took up my master's in education, major in social studies. I am a doctorate degree holder in business administration, majoring in financial management. So, to begin with, my topic is all about the money management skills and saving tricks. The objectives is to recognize the keys to achieving financial success. Next one is to develop personal financial goals and to implement a plan for making personal financial decisions. We will also be describing your personal financial values, goals, and strategies. We will also be identifying the main components of wise money management. Next is to develop a good recording system, to develop and implement a personal budget, relate money management activities with saving for financial goals, identify the different saving tricks, and to apply saving tricks and techniques in our daily lives. So, this is a way to achieve personal financial success. But first, to get there, we must define what financial literacy is. So, financial literacy is the ability to understand and effectively use various financial skills, including personal financial management, budgeting, and investing. Also, this is the foundation of your relationship with money. It is a lifelong journey of learning. This also improves your ability to handle your day to day financial matters. So, also, personal literacy is also the knowledge and competency in a specified course, particularly in specific areas such as like dealing with finances, because you should be knowledgeable in handling money. Also, this is also important. Why? Why is it important? It is because it gives us also an access to information, particularly the financial information. Next, for the personal finance, this is the study of personal and family resources that is considered important in achieving financial success. Personal finance is very personal. It's actually it's in a personal setting wherein you have to deal with your individual finances or your family's income. Next one is that it also involves how people spend, save, protect, and invest their financial resources. It is also about meeting personal financial goals, which depends on your income. Income probably it may come from your salaries, from your allotment, and from your businesses. And also expenses, these are your expenditures or things that you wanted to spend on. Also the living requirements and the individual goals and desires. And you would have to come up with a plan to fulfill those needs within your financial constraints. And at the same time, if you are the breadwinner, you are the one who are in charge or of your family's resources. So you will be the budget officer or the provider of finances. And also, for our financial resources are sourced out from your own money or your own fund, or it could be coming from your debt or from other financial institutions. And also, in personal finance, it actually describes the financial management practices. So personal finance is also a tie-up within or with financial management. It is also important for managing your money through budgeting, spending, and savings. So later on, I will be discussing what are the means for us to spend, save, and to spend less. This also involves long-term planning that considers potential financial risk because nowadays people cannot do away with such financial risk, not only in finance but also the different aspects in our economy that also part and parcel of what the finance is all about, and also the investment. So if you have these considerations of the two things that I have made mention, you will be achieving your goals. And once you achieve your goals, you will be determining your financial situation that would also last during a lifetime over the course of your lifetime. And may I just ask you, were you affected of the increase of prices of gasoline in your country? Does the prices of goods and services increase in your country also? Because here in the Philippines, the prices of goods, or particularly the gasoline, generally increase because of the risk that is associated, or that is the tension that's happening in Ukraine and Russia. That's why, if that happens, there is an inflation and it will actually lead to recession. So I hope not. And this topic is also very helpful in order as for us to prepare for the upcoming things that might happen. So next one is that, to in order for us to achieve personal financial success, we should also be financially responsible. And by definition, financial responsibility is the process of managing money in a way that is productive, meaning to say, if you say productive, you are efficient and effective. Efficient is achieving goals with lesser cost. Effective is achieving goals with lesser time. So if you combine effective and efficient, you will become productive. And also, this works in the best interest of an individual, his or her family, or it could also be in the organization. This means that you are accountable for your future financial well being and that you strive to make. Studying personal finance will help you avoid financial mistakes and to show you how to take advantage of your financial opportunities. Probably the financial opportunities would mean investments. So you're also responsible in taking care of your credit cards, your debts, and managing your budget. So that is also called within the bounds of the financial responsibility. So you will also be looking at your financial situations, and you will also evaluate your earning and spending habits. So just in case that the prices increase, probably you would have to cut back your expenses and save or a lot, your savings, or to increase your savings. And that you will be making your necessary adjustment in order for you to compensate with the things that are happening within your community. Doing what you have to do is taking care of your needs and your family's needs, because that is nowadays very important. So the building blocks of achieving financial success is first to spend less to save and to invest. So people are likely to have more funds available for future consumption when they save and invest. So that is what savings and investing is all about. By having more funds to use in the future, that is the idea of being financially responsible, and personal finance is also, or money management is also, um, is defined. Saving for future consumption entails human desire to get to a certain standard of living. So I will highlight the words invest, saving, and standard of living. By definition, saving is the income not spent on current consumption. This is actually allocated for you to keep, for you to probably use for your investment. That is your savings. Investments are assets purchased with a goal of providing additional income from the assets itself. Meaning to say that there is a return on your investment. There is a yield in form of interest. So the investment is something that would help you increase your value. And it's also very important nowadays because it can be possible source of your income. The standard of living is the material well being of the average person in a given population. It is the degree of wealth and material comfort available to the community or to the person. So it is saying that you should live within your means. There's a popular cliche that says, don't keep up with the Jones. It's actually a figure of speech. This means to say that you always have to want you all you strive to want to own the same expensive objects and to experience the same things like that of your friends. So in order for you to not feel outcasted or to be separated from them, you also go with the flow. So that is not living within your means. How about you? Do you also do that? So I hope you will be living within your means too. Letter B is financial success and happiness. So financial success is the achievement of financial aspirations that are desired, planned, or attempted. Also, financial success is different for everyone. Yes, because if we define success, each one of us can define success in a different way. And it is all about the balance, perspective, knowledge, values, and how you define it. And they said that financial success means having less because less is more and more is less. But in reality, we have no idea whether a person is financially successful or financially happy. Why? There are actually two reasons. First one is that we can measure someone's happiness by what we know about them. So we can only gauge them but by what we know. Next one is that we can only measure someone's happiness or success by how we define success. So if my definition of success is that I can buy whatever I want, I can say that you are also successful if you can buy whatever you want. So we have a different definitions of success. So it's very subjective in nature. And that is true for financial happiness also. Financial happiness is the satisfaction you feel about money matters. And it is not about your net worth, but it is all about security. When you feel satisfied about your money, regardless how much your earnings are, that is financially successful or financial happiness. So according to Wharton School study in University of Pennsylvania in 2021, people's well-being rises with the amount of money they make. Is that true? People's well-being rises with the amount of money they make. This is also true based on the research conducted in 2010 that people tend to feel happier when they make more money. Is that true? Do you feel happy when you have more money? Does money define happiness? Also, study conducted by the social, psychological, and personality science says that millionaires are happier than the average population because of how they spend their free and working hours. Of course, being millionaires, they have their leisure of their time. They can work whatever, whenever they want. So, start to become a millionaire so that you can also do what they have to do, what they are doing. And it is actually contrary to what the conventional wisdom suggests that money can't buy happiness. Do you believe in this? That money can't buy happiness? Nowadays, people are too engrossed with having materialistic things. That's why they associate happiness and success with having the earthly possessions because that is the product of change and also that is the trend nowadays. Letter C is using the building blocks. So in order to do that, you have to bridge the gap between one's level of living and one's desired standard of living, which involves learning about how to achieve financial success. So I'll be showing you what the building blocks to achieving financial success looks like. If you can see the figure there, that it's a house wherein you have to build your foundation. And The foundation is actually from your regular income, which actually provides your basic lifestyle and your savings. So having a regular income is your foundation, meaning to say you can only move if you have money. Because if you do not have money at all, you cannot achieve the highest peak or the roof of the building blocks. So first, you have to have your money or income. The base is having a checking account, savings account. Very basic one is having a savings account. Money market accounts. Money markets are the securities that are traded less than a year. Those are money markets. We also have insurance protection. We also have your employee benefits. And for the employee benefits, it is mandatory here in the Philippines to have this employee benefits such as the social security, the health health insurance also, and at the same time the pag-ibig fund, which is it's like a savings also, but it also allows you to make loans, may it be short-term loans or housing loans. That is the idea of pag-ibig fund. So there are also aside from the social security, we have the social security is coming from the government and the private. So if you are working in a government sector, you will be enjoying the benefits of the government GSIS. And for the private sector in the Philippines, you will be enjoying SSS. So whatever industry that you were part of, you will be having the employee benefits. So that is those are the base. And you will be establishing your long-term goals. Long-term goals are perceived to happen 5 years and above. For short-term goals, these are less than a year. We also have organized financial records, which the next topic will be able to explain. I will be able to explain what organized financial records are. And having a realistic budget. It is also very smart to use realistic budget nowadays. And also having emergency savings fund. For the emergency savings fund and contingency savings fund, you should have at least 6 times your income. That is what I read from the books. 6 times your income. You should have that much. Next one is that you will be managing your housing expenses. Probably mortgage loans are already included here, and also the different basic expenses for your everyday needs and educational expenses, of course. We also have transportation expenses. This is very difficult to manage nowadays given the increase in prices of the oils and the gasolines. It is also we are also affected by such economic happenings around the world. So you cannot say that we in the Philippines or we in from other countries are not affected because we are far from Ukraine and Russia. But given the situation now, we are actually experiencing the effects, and it is actually inevitable. So nowadays, the tendency is that the cost of transportation will actually increase again. It might be doubled. So the coming days, we should be prepared that this will happen. So I suggest that electronic bike would be nicer to use, just in case that your house is near from your workplace, or you can do biking. It's actually healthier, but there are also risks associated with the use of such transport. Next one is the insurance expense. You also have to manage those expenses because it is already part of your it will form part of your income under fixed expense. And we also have the income taxes in the Philippines. If you um, earn more than 20,000 pesos, you will be a certain portion will be deducted for your income taxes that is from the train law. And also the contingencies. Actually, the term contingencies and emergency funds are somewhat the same. They're almost the same. Next one is that the you're already nearing the roof. You will be handling your credit cards if you have credit cards or credit card. You will also be handling your loans. You will also be taking care of your savings account, and savings account are your uh, accounts in the banks that would earn an income. However, you this is actually savings account is the safest type of an investment. It is because it is a guaranteed you have a guaranteed earning. However, the earnings is a little bit small than the other different types of investments, which is stocks. And this is safe. It is because it is uh, you are backed up by the PDIC, or the Philippine Depository Insurance Corporation, meaning to say that if you have 500,000 in a bank, and if that bank becomes bankrupt, it is automatic that you will be given back your 500,000 pesos. So it's safe. And we also have the educational cost, or education cost. For you will be investing in your mutual funds. Mutual funds are types of securities wherein you will hire a mutual fund manager in order for him or her to manage your accounts or your savings. So you have to pay them. However, he or she will manage your account. Next one is the stocks and bonds. Stocks are actually um, an ownership to a corporation or a business. Bonds are proof of or evidence of indebtedness. Bonds are debts actually. But you can buy bonds can also be used. It's not only a liability but also an asset, because you can also invest in bonds wherein you can earn a considerable amount of interest. And real estate, for all we know, real estates are very expensive. However, this is one of the investment that is also lucrative because it appreciates. The value of the real estate appreciates. So it's nice uh, to have investment in real estate. However, do not just put your eggs in one basket. Meaning to say that you will have to put your money in, or you will be investing all your money in real estate alone, because if you need money, you will not be able to easily convert that real estate into cash. You're not that liquid. Meaning to say, do not put all your money in real estate, because there are so many types of investment that is available in the market nowadays. So these are actually an illustration of the few investments that is possible for us or for everyone. And next one is about retirement plans. So actually, sometimes retirement plans are not managed, or not managed very well, or they tend to neglect it because they might think, I'm still young, I will not plan for my retirement. However, it is a dire need to plan for retirement nowadays. It's because of the higher cost of healthcare services, and also there are growing number of expenses, and not to mention the culture of dependency. Like in the Philippines, it is our culture to be dependent from our parents, even if we have already graduated. It's because it's part of our culture, and it's not it may be or may not be a bad thing also. Next one is that once you have already done everything from the foundation until to the investment, you will be achieving a financially successful life. Isn't it hard? Isn't it hard to achieve the building blocks of financial success? Actually, if you take a look at the picture, it may mean that it is difficult. However, if you're already in the process of doing it, it will be an easy feat because you're already applying that. Particularly if you have done researching, it is a must actually to do researching before you invest. And it is also very important for you to ask other people about their experiences in this type of field, because finance actually is very broad actually. We also have private and government financing, and at the same time there are also risks associated there, and there are also different types of securities wherein you can invest in the different monetary policy. So these are also this may also affect your building blocks to financial success. Financial and personal satisfaction are results of an organized process that is commonly referred to as personal money management or personal financial planning. So, personal financial planning is the process of managing your money to achieve your personal economic situation, which allows you to control your financial economic satisfaction, which allows you to control your financial situation. Actually, as I have read from the different books, finance actually came from the idea of economic. Actually, the growth of finance is from the term economics, because economic, by definition, it is the allocation of scarce and limited resources to satisfy unlimited human wants and needs. And one way to satisfy people nowadays is money. Not only money, but the goods that you purchase, the services that you also experience. So, if you are satisfied, tendency is that, um, economically speaking, you are satisfied, or you can also gain financial satisfaction from it. And personal financial planning is also a step-by-step approach to meet one's life goals. So, actually, personal financial planning involves management. Why? Because in definition of management, the definition of management entails it is the planning, organizing, leading, directing, and controlling the organization to achieve its goals and objectives. So that is the idea of management. So if we apply financial management, it is a step-by-step procedure wherein you will be doing all those processes that I have made mention and applying it to your financial capabilities or your financial um, life. So it is actually a systematic approach where an individual maximizes the existing financial resources through proper management of one's finances to best achieve his or her own objectives. Actually, personal finance is, the definition of that is that we actually have different goals and objectives as to personal finance. Some of you may have a goal of buying a laptop within the next 2 years. Some of you buying a car, building a house within the next 10 years, or to become sustainable during your retirement. So that is part of your goals. So you will also be classifying that according to the term of your goals. Later on, I will be discussing that too, explaining that also. So, what is a financial plan? It is a formalized report that summarizes your current financial situation, analyzes your financial needs, and recommends your future financial activities. Financial plan seems very complicated because you have to prepare a report. Actually, if the idea of financial plan there is that you just have to write your income, your savings, and how much liabilities that you're going to pay. It doesn't necessarily have to be very standardized, because we are not accountants. We are just doing it for our own sake. It's because it's very subjective. So financial plan may be very subjective. So it depends upon how you do your financial plans. For as long as everything that is involves in your financial situation is written, from your budget, from your investments, from your expenses, how much you earn, how much you save, how much you invest, and the things that are involved in your financial life. So it is also it also details about income, savings, investments, expenditures, your debts, and your insurance also. So it also safeguards you against life's surprises like the job loss. Job loss is also very inevitable. Last During the last pandemic, it is because some of us do not have, some of the Filipinos, actually, some of the people lost their job because of the pandemic that had happened. And also there are also certain restrictions. Also about illness also, and also the economic downturn. Nowadays, we are actually experiencing economic downturn given the pandemic, and at the same time the things that are happening in the different countries or around the globe. So, financial plan is a comprehensive income or comprehensive plan projecting many years in the future. So, a good financial plan is a roadmap that shows us exactly how the choices we make, how the choices we make today will affect our future. Do you believe in what Alexa von Tobel has said? A good financial road uh, a good financial plan is a roadmap that shows us exactly how the choices we make today will affect our future. I do believe so with what she said. It is because if we spend a lot today, how will become viable in the future, right? So we actually have the advantages of effective personal financial planning. One is to increase the effectiveness in obtaining, using, and protecting our financial resources through your lives. So it will be discussed in the next topic. Second one is that the increase you will be having an increased control of your financial affairs by avoiding excessive debt. Probably you will be cutting down your or closing your credit card accounts, bankruptcy, or dependence on others. You will be improving your personal relationships resulting from well planned and effectively communicated financial decisions. Probably this involves couples or married couples or family members. Just in case that you have family members, you might say to them, you might tell them that this is the budget that we have. So you have to follow our budget. We should be living beyond no not beyond within your means. So if just in case that our budget is already we did not meet our budget, tendency is we go overboard. We make a loans or probably we borrow from others. So the tendency is that the cycle of poverty keeps on moving because we cannot pay our previous debts. In order to pay the previous debts, you have to make a loan again. So it's the cycle keeps on moving. So one of the advantage of personal plan or financial planning is to improve relationship so that you will gain financial success someday. And the fourth one is to have a sense of freedom from financial worries obtained by looking to the future, expecting expenses, and achieving and personal economic goals. And by definition of financial freedom, you have enough resources to pay for your living expenses and allow you to afford many of your life's goals. It's simply saying that you can buy whatever you want. You can do whatever you like. That is called freedom. You will be also be capable enough to fend yourself. It's like you're independent. You don't have financial worries at all. That is called financial freedom. So how exciting is that? Having financial freedom, you can do whatever you want. See, you don't have to work. So here are the different financial planning activities. We have obtaining, planning, saving, borrowing, spending, managing risks, investing, and retirement and estate planning. The first one is to obtain. Actually, there are actually two sources of funds. We can obtain it from the debts or from our own money or called equity or capital. So, in obtaining, financial resources may be from employment, from your salary, from your investment, or ownership in business if you are a sole proprietor, probably. And you will be obtaining financial resources, and it is the basic foundation of financial planning because these are used for all your financial activities. So just like in taxation, tax is the lifeblood of the economy. Likewise, money is what keeps us moving and catering to our basic needs, just like the physiological needs. Without money, we cannot have our shelter, we cannot have our food, we cannot buy our clothing. So you need to obtain funds in order for you to reach one of the basic Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Next one is planning. Planning is the key to achieving goals and future financial security. Saving. Long term financial security starts with a regular savings plan for emergencies, unexpected bills, replacement of major items, and the purchase of special goods and services such as college education, a boat probably, or a vacation home. And saving also is setting aside a portion of your income for future use or flow of resources accumulated over a period of time. Also, this is also money set aside to cover future or planned unexpected expenses. It is actually essential in building long-term wealth. So, for example, during the pandemic, people do not have savings at all. Actually, majority of the people do not have savings at all. So, some of us may have waited for the government's um, help or aid, financial aid. So, if you are not financially prepared, that would happen to us. We'll just help. We'll just wait for the help of others. So, there are actually many different definitions of saving. Some may say that you have saved because I placed my money in the bank. You can say that my savings is in the stocks. You can also say that I can save or I have been saving because I placed my money in the bank, in the coin bank. That is also many different definitions of saving. So it is also very subjective. Savings is also very subjective. Next, borrowing. Borrowing is debt financing also. So borrowing is maintaining control over your credit buying habits that will also contribute to your financial goals. The overuse and misuse of credit may cause a situation in which a person's debts far exceeds the resources available to pay their debts. So tendency is that you will become bankrupt. And there are also sources from where you will be borrowing. There are actually many financial institutions that could cater to your needs, financial needs. So financial institutions are companies that focuses on dealing with financial transactions. So they're just like the financial intermediaries wherein they bridge the surplus unit and the deficit unit. The deficit unit are the people who are in need of money. The surplus units are the people who have excessive amounts of money. So they put all their money, although the surplus unit put their money in those financial institutions. And the financial institutions return their investment through interest. At the same time, they lend that money to the deficit unit, and then the deficit unit will also be paying interest. So it's like a give and take relationship. And what are the different kinds of financial institutions? We have the very basic are the banks. We also have the credit unions or the cooperatives. We also have the peer-to-peer lending or what we call social lending and crowd lending. We also have credit cards. We also have public agencies. Like in the Philippines, we have the GOCCs, government owned and controlled corporations such as Pag-ibig Fund, SSS, and the GSIS. You can also make a loan from them. We also have the different financing companies. And when you borrow, the certain institution will also consider five C's of credit. The first C is capacity. You should have the capacity to pay in order for you to be granted a loan. The next one is the capital. How much capital will you borrow? How much is your earnings? The next one is your collateral. Just in case that you will be borrowing big chunks of money, the certain financial institutions will require you to give the collateral. For example, but when you are going to buy a house, the house normally you will be giving the collateral in form of the land title to them, just so that they are secured that they have something in return, just in case that you become delinquent payer, because it also happens all the time. Some of the borrowers becomes delinquent. That's why what they do is that the collateral will be foreclosed by the financial institution. That would be taken away from the borrower just in case that he or she cannot pay. So that will become the assets or the thing that would offset the loan amount versus the the loan amount and the amount that is needed to be paid. The fourth one are the conditions. Conditions entails a contract wherein it stipulates that the amount of loan that he or she will be borrowing, who are the parties, when is he going to return it, the amount borrowed, and the interest that it will entail. So all the things, the stipulations, conditions are written in that contract. And the last one is the character. Character also is very difficult to measure in terms of borrowing. That's why in the Philippines we call this CI, or the consumer investigation, or yes, credit investigation, meaning to say that you have to investigate the person, the type of person that he or she is, in order for you to gauge the the background, so that you this is also a basis for you to grant him or her a loan. So five C's of credit are capacity, capital, collateral, conditions, and character. For spending, this is a financial planning that is designed not to prevent your enjoyment of life, but to help you obtain the items that you want. You spend because you wanted to get something. Spending less than you earn is the only way to achieve long term financial security. So, spending also is an act of giving money for goods and services. So we have the term expenditures or the expenses. Expenditure is the amount of money spent by the individual, government, or the organization. This is actually what we spend. We spend on the different expenditures. Next, we will be managing the risk. It is actually important to manage the risk. Adequate insurance coverage is another component of personal financial planning. Actually, insurances hedge us from the risks, meaning to say, hedging means you will be building a protection from the risks. Protection. Imagine a wall. A wall. It's a hedge that protects you from theft, from protects you from outsider. So an insurance also does that. So, risk management is also important. Risk management is the process of identifying, assessing, and controlling the threats to an organization's capital and earnings. So, we have personal risks also. These are the potential for losses that impact an individual or a family. May I just enumerate some of the basic risks that we can experience? One is the safety risk. It is all about the accidents or crime or probably loss of income. That is risk. You also have the health risk, which are the diseases that we would be experiencing. We also have the property risk such as fire, flood, or theft. We also have weather risk due to the bad weather. We have force majeure. This is a large scale negative event such as disaster and war. Hopefully, the tension between Ukraine and Russia will not lead to war because everyone will be affected, not only the neighboring countries, but across the world. So financial risk in such as the investment risk, the tax rates, the tax risks, the interest rate risk, the recession risk, the liquidity risk are under the financial risk. Anything that involves money are called financial risk. Career risk also. This means that your skills is already out of demand. It means to say that it is not already in the trend. It that is called career risk. We also have the business risk. One of the business risks may involves competition because in marketing, the competition, the higher the profit, the higher the competition. So do not be surprised that if you are the first one who introduced this into the market, then later on a certain business copied you. Do not be surprised because that is part of competition and it's also part of the risk. So as a business owner, you should know how to manage such risk. We also have political risk. We have the purchase risk. Purchase risk is that you will not have the value that you anticipated. Next one is the dread risk. This happens during plane crash. We also have the passive risk or the risk of doing nothing. So doing nothing or doing something at all involves risk. So anything that you do involves risk or entails risks. Next, we have investing. Investing is to spend money with the expectation of achieving profit or material result by putting it into financial plans, shares, or property by using it to develop a commercial venture. The goal actually is to generate income or appreciation. So there are many different kinds of investments. However, you should also consider the axiom number one, axiom or the basic foundation of finance, which is the risk and the return trade-off. It says there or stipulates that the higher the risk, the higher the return. So, like I've said a while ago, in banks, there is a low risk, but there is a low return because it's a safe investment. Next, another investments are stocks. Stocks are very risky. However, it entails greater risk, but it gives off greater return. However, knowledge in stock exchange or probably stock trading is also very beneficial because you will actually learn how to speculate. You need to have a speculative skills in order for you to know when to sell or when to buy such stocks. We also have the bonds. We also have investment in retirement, insurance, cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are trend nowadays. Actually, given the minute span, it could give you thousands of pesos already for as long as you also know how to speculate. And nowadays, it's a during this time, it's actually a bear market, meaning to say everything, the prices of the currencies became red. It's a bear market. Next one is you can also invest in your education. Probably you would be pursuing higher degree. It's also an investment. You will be buying yourselves land or real estate or probably constructing a building. It's also investment. Constructing a building for leasing is also an investment. And you also have mutual funds and the different bank products. So there are so many types of kinds of investments that you can venture in. Again, as I was saying a while ago, do not put your eggs in one basket. The last one is for the retirement and estate planning. Retirement planning is the accumulation of wealth to provide income and financial security in the future. And you will be considering your life expectancy in your retirement planning. Probably you will estimate that you will live for another 20 years after your retirement. You just have to estimate. Also, the healthcare cost. Do you know that in Canada, based on my research, that Canada is one of the best countries to retire because the healthcare there is free when you retire. So no wonder there are so many people who wanted to go to Canada, to migrate to Canada because of the healthcare system. So given the opportunity, it's nice to go there at least. And also the lifestyle cost. You will also consider that in your retirement planning. Retirement planning also are the strategies on your savings, investments, distribution of money to sustain one's self during the retirement. Of course, you have to identify the sources of your income in order for you to plan for retirement. You have to size up your expenses. You also have to implement a savings program before you retire. My tip there is that as early as possible, you have to include retirement in your savings program so that you will not be dependent. You will not be dependent in your family's income. You will also have to manage your assets and the risks. Next is the next term is estate planning. This actually focuses on wealth preservation and wealth transfer. So the estate plan protects beneficiaries actually. And beneficiaries in terms of your children or your wife or your spouse. And during if you protect them, you will be making last will and testament. It's also very beneficial to execute that. However, you should find an executor when at the time that you will become deceased. You should find an executor to execute your will. Next one is to eliminate family messes. So if you have already will, they will not be having a conflict or a fight or a feud because of who will have to have this kind of property, or how is the division of such estate. And last one is that you will be sparing the beneficiaries from tax. We all know that if you did not carefully plan for your estate, tendency is that the beneficiaries will either pay large amounts of estate taxes and different inheritance taxes. Not to mention other taxes that are included in the of title or the transfer of your wealth. So you should also consider that. So we live by the quote that financial planning is like a navigation. If you know where you are and where you want to go, navigation isn't such a great problem. It is when you don't know the 2 points that it is difficult. That is according to Venita Van Caspel. Do you believe so? Financial planning is like a navigation. It's like a compass of our life. What do you think? Do you consider planning for your financial needs now? Do you see the essence why financial planning is important? I hope you do. So the personal planning process involves having sources of income, or sources of funds, I should say, through your income, which either you will be spending, saving, or sharing. So when you spend, it will be used for your daily living expenses and for your major expenditures. Probably buying a car, or changing your aircon, repainting your house. Those are your major expenditures. And for recreational activities such as traveling, probably, and buying the upgraded iPhone or the new brand of iPhone, model of iPhone. Those are things. Or you can go, you could venture out in a different sporting activities, or probably events in your community. Those are different recreational activities wherein you will be using your money. And next one is to save. Saving is for long-term financial security. You will also be sharing. Just in case you have excess funds, you can also share. So this is the financial planning process. First is that you have to determine your current financial situation. So what will you determine? You have to determine your income, your savings, your living expenses, and your debt. So it will also help if you prepare a list of your current assets and your debt balances. Next one is to develop your financial goals. You should be analyzing your financial values and your goals. The purpose of this is that for you to differentiate your needs and wants. So probably before buying a certain item, should ask yourself, do I need this? Do I just want this? So you have to have think twice in order for you to decide. Next one is to develop an extensive savings and investment program. This is also part of the number two process. Number three is identify the alternative courses of action. So when identifying a certain course of action, it actually involves an opportunity cost. And opportunity cost is the value forgone in choosing the best alternative. So there are normally two sides of a story, two sides of a coin. You have to choose one. So it will actually involves opportunity cost. And the possible courses of action is that you will be continuing to you will be continuing to apply that same course of action. For example, you will be determining the amount you want to save in each month. Say you wanted to save 10,000 pesos in a month, that's fine. However, you need to expand your current situation. Probably 10,000 pesos is not enough. May I just increase my savings into another 50% more, so that makes it 15,000 pesos? So you can, that's possible. Next one is that you will change your current situation just in case that you are not doing fine or not saving enough. Probably or if you are saving in coin banks and you have already increased the number of coins that you have putting in the bank, probably in order for you to make more money, you, instead of putting your coins in the coin bank, why not put it in the bank in order for that to increase its increase probably. And next one is to take a new course of action, just in case that um, you may have noticed that you gain lesser amounts or lesser return on income from the bank. Why not try a more risky investment? Why not invest in stocks? Why not invest in cryptocurrencies and sort of things? You can do that. Next one is to evaluate the alternatives. You will be assessing your risk, the time value of money or the opportunity cost that I have made mention a while ago. You will be also considering the life situation, your values, and your economic factors. So there are also uh, consequences of your choices. So be ready to take responsibility if you choose that kind of alternative. Number five is to create and implement your financial action plan. So you will be needing assistance in implementation. So it's also very nice if you ask the help of other people. Who are those people that you may want to ask? Probably the bookkeepers, the financial advisors, probably the lawyers. They might know something about it. And the last one is to revise and review and revise the financial plan. Meaning to say, once a year you should be reviewing and make changes. Just in case one of the goals may not work out, you would also be considering your personal, economic, and social factors that may happen. So that's a cycle. So we have financial values, goals, and strategies. You'll be identifying your financial values and goals that sets the stage for your financial success. Values and goals keep a balance between spending and saving and help you stay committed to your financial plans. Once goals are set, you can develop the strategies necessary for their achievement. Values define your financial success also. Values is very important in the goal setting. Your values provide the underlying support and rationale for your financial and lifestyle goals. Your values are also your fundamental beliefs of what is important, desirable, and worthwhile. They actually serve as the basis for your goals. That's why values and goals are tied with each other. Financial goals follow from your values. Why? Because successful financial planning involves or evolves from your financial goals. And financial goals are the specific objectives to be attained through financial planning and management efforts. Financial lifestyle Financial and lifestyle goals should be consistent with your values also. So setting your goals help you visualize the gap between your current financial status and the things that are ideal, the things that where you want to become in the future. So you will ask yourself in this process, what went wrong? Did I not save this much? Did I spend too much? So you will be considering your values from your financial goals. In order for us to develop and achieve our financial goals, we have the types of financial goals. As I have made mention a while ago, the short term and long term, for which short term goals are actually the goals that are set 1 year and below. So 12 months is the duration. Intermediate goals are the goals happening within 2 year span to 5 year span. And the long term goals are 5 years and above. So you should not only make few goals you should not only make few goals that only involves short term goals, but also you should look ahead. You should become proactive in developing your goals. You should also consider these guidelines. You need to be specific, wherein you know exactly what your goals are, and it should be measurable, meaning to say you can earn 5,000 a month for 5 years. That's measurable because it involves certain amounts. You should also become action oriented, wherein probably you may reduce your credit card debts. You will also become realistic, meaning to say you will be basing your income in your situation, such as if you want to buy a car, however, you're a full time student, could you buy a car? So you become a realistic. Next one, it is also time based, meaning to say that you give a certain period for which you wanted to achieve your goals. So that is a smart way to set your goals. So these are the steps to developing your financial goals. We have realistic goals from your life situation. Example of it is that probably you wanted to buy a laptop, a new laptop. Step 2 is to state your goals in measurable terms. Probably save 3,000 pesos a month will do. Measurable, it is measurable because you have made mention of the peso amounts. Step 3 is to determine the time frame. Probably 2 years. So 2 years, that is 24 months. 24 months times 24 times 3 is around 72. So you will be saving, you will be having that much. And step 4 is the actions to be taken. Probably you will not be splurging because you wanted to save. Next one is that you will only buy what you need. Third one is that you will be cutting down your expenses or your bills. So those are just examples. However, it's very subjective. So you might want to create your own financial goals based on the SMART guidelines and follow these steps. This is also one way for you to achieve your financial goals. This is you'll just have to set things in priority. If you can see the left corner or the right corner of your screen, you can see the priority. You will be rating the priority according to high, medium, or low. Of course, you have to give the description, amount needed, months to achieve, and the actions to be taken. Financial strategies. The financial strategies actually guide you to financial success. These are also pre-established plans of actions to be implemented in a specific situation. So, accumulating wealth is much more related to your ability to understand trade-offs among your current and future wants and make the sacrifices that will save money and generate wealth for you. So strategies are actually your techniques in order for you to achieve your goals in consideration with your values. It also deals with availability of resources or sources of funds, the usage and the management of funds. It is actually also about increasing your money in the long run and maximize your return on your investments. To sum up, successful planning involves the following elements that guide you: the specific values that underlie the plans, explicitly stated financial goals, and the logical and consistent financial strategies. For the money management, this actually refers to the day-to-day financial activities necessary to manage current personal economic resources while working toward long-term financial security. This actually refers to the processes of budgeting, saving, investing, spending, or otherwise overseeing the capital usage of the individual or a group. So, you will also use to track your expenses and to plan for your individual's money or your family's money or your financial resources. It is actually the key to improving your financial situation. So we have components of money management. There are actually 3 steps. You will be storing and maintaining your personal financial records and documents. You will be creating your personal financial statement through the use of balance sheet and cash flow statements. You will be creating and implementing a plan for spending and saving through budgeting. We have financial records. This is important. It is because financial records and valuable articles should be kept in a location that provides better security than a home file. Example of financial records that should be kept, we have the invoices, the receipts, the credit card statements, the insurance policies, the tax forms, or even your bills and deposit slips. Those are the financial records that you need to keep. We also have an organized system of financial records that provides a basis for handling daily business activities such as the bill paying. Planning and measuring financial progress also is one of the system, and completing required tax reports, making effective investment decisions, and determining available resources for current and future spending. So where do you keep your financial records? It is best if you keep it in your home files, home computer, or online. You can also use save it in safety deposit boxes or a fireproof home safe or your vault. You can also save it to your computer, your tablet, that's tablet, and your phone. And you should not be keeping it, or you should not be throwing it in the waste basket, trash can, or trash bin. You should not be shredding it or putting it in your computer bin, recycle bin. The next one is your financial statements. So it is a spreadsheet that details the assets and liabilities of an individual, a couple, or a business at a specific point in time. Example of the balance sheet is the financial balance sheet is called the financial position, and the cash flow statement. So the current financial position of an individual or the family is a common starting point for financial planning. So the main purpose of financial statements are to report your current financial position, how much assets that you have, how much debt that you owe, and you will be also measuring your progress towards financial goals. You will be maintaining the information about your financial activities, and it will be you will be provided with the data for preparing your tax forms or applying for credit. So this is the basic formula for the balance sheet. You have to enumerate the items that you value or what you own, and then you deduct the amounts that you owed or what you owe, after which you will be arriving with your net worth or your wealth. So the balance sheet determines your position. It's because it determines how much wealth that you have. So there are steps to create balance sheet. The first one is to list the items of value. What are those value? What are those valuable assets? We have liquid assets. Liquid assets may be in form of cash, money, stocks, and bonds. We also have the real estate, which are your properties. We have your personal possessions, which are your jewelry, laptops, gadgets, and the likes. And we also have the investment assets, which are mutual funds, stocks, bonds, or anything that is traded online. Step two is to determine the amounts that you owe from your current liabilities and long-term liabilities. And the last step is to compute your net worth. So the basic formula for the financial position is assets minus liabilities equals net worth. For your cash flow statement, you should have a summary of your total cash received during the time period. Deduct the cash outflows or your expenses, or the no, not the expenses, the cash outflows or where the cash was spent during the time period. You will be having the cash surplus or the deficit. So if you have surplus, this means to say that you have greater savings than your expenses. If you have a deficit, this means to say that you have greater expenses than your savings. Oops. Creating an income statement or a cash flow statement. First is you will be recording your income. Next one is to record your cash flows. You have to determine which are your fixed expenses and your variable expenses. Fixed expenses are your car payments, your mortgage payments, and your insurance payments. For variable expenses are the the daily spending decisions that you make that are not planned. Example, eating at a restaurant. That those are this is an example of variable expenses. So the third one is to determine the net cash flow. If it's positive, it's a surplus. If it's negative, it's a deficit. So these are the steps in order for you to create an effective budgeting. First is to set financial goals, estimate income, budget emergency fund and savings, budget fixed expenses, budget variable expenses, record spending amounts, review spending and savings pattern. Again, in order for you to have a successful budget, it should be well planned, it should be realistic, flexible, and it should be clearly communicated. So now, I will be teaching different types of budgeting system that can be used or applied within the family or within an individual. Normally, people would actually make mental budgets. So they just think of the money that they have, how much money they the, will be earning, or what are the things they wanted to spend it on. However, it is not so reliable because we are so forgetful. People are so forgetful. That's why there's a physical budget. Physical budget makes use of envelopes, plastic case with zipper, and jars. It would actually help. Those are called physical budget. Next one is a written budget and the digital budget. So for me, I also use physical budget. It's a combination of physical budget, written budget, and digital budget. It's because we cannot do away from risks. So probably I make use of the three. How about you? What is the budgeting techniques that you use? Or what is the type of budgeting systems that you apply? Is it a combination of the four? Or just two, just one? What can you say? So in selecting a saving technique, you have to write a check each payday to deposit in a separate savings account or use an automatic payment. So you can do auto debit, it's also a must. It's also one way to do it. You also have a payroll deduction so that you will not be able to become you will not be experience a hassle in depositing it to the banking institution or the financial institution. The third one is the saving coins or spending less on certain items. So, according to a Scottish proverb, saving a small amount to soon builds up to a large amount. Is that true? Saving a small amount soon builds up to a large amount. Yes, it is true. So, these are the tips in order for you to save. The first one is to not buy on impulse. Nowadays, there are so many online platforms that offers discounts, great deals, and this is actually their goal actually is to entice you from buying the products. So don't be deceived with the promotional activities because they just wanted you to engage or to buy on an impulse. So don't go broke trying to look rich. Second one is to cut down credit cards and commercial loans. You should also be reducing the use or better even stop using credit. So the problem is that it is easy to get but often incur tremendous burden to pay debt or to pay it back. That always happens a lot. And focus on paying back first the loan or the credit cards with the highest interest. Probably nowadays there are also some credit card companies that offer no annual fees. It can also help. And one tip also not to one tip about credit card is to pay the maximum amount per month than the minimum amount due, so that you will not be drowned from debt. The third one is to stick to your budget. The very virtue there is to become disciplined. Stick to your budget. Live within your means. You should spend on your savings too. One of the first things you should spend your money is your savings. According to Warren Buffett, one of the millionaire richest people on earth, do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after savings. Number five is to spend less on eating out. Probably you want to cook and try something new for your family in order for you to save on gasoline also. And I think you should cut your splurging, and also buying from delivery services or going to cafes and milk tea shops. It will also help you spend less on eating out. Are you guilty about it? Also, it also helps for you to buy generic versus brand names because it has the same efficacy also. So buy the generic ones. It's cheaper than the ones with brand names. Seven is haggle, haggle, haggle. So it's not being stingy at all, but you're a smart buyer. So haggling is also one of the techniques in order for you to save on cost. Also, you should also be paying in cash because when you pay in cash, certain products give you a great discounts. Do you do this also when you go to the market? Do you haggle? The next one, or the number eight, is to look for the best deals. It also pays to have research before you buy a certain product. Don't just depend on what you see for the first time. Research from the different shops. Probably there's already wide range of information from the internet. You can also do that. Number nine is to have an emergency fund. As I was saying a while ago, an emergency fund should be six times your income or the amount you receive for the month. Having an emergency funds actually safeguard you to unfavorable circumstances. So it actually protects you and your family. Number 10 is to cut or downgrade your services and bills. Probably you may want to unsubscribe from your different accounts in Netflix or Spotify if you're not using it. Or probably if you have a landline at home, why not cut it and then change it to your mobile phones, something like that. Or change your light bulbs into energy saving devices. Or you may use solar panels in order for you to save on electricity. Number 11 is to record all your expenses. Even the smallest of things is even the cheapest item that you brought, you should record your expenses. Why not try a spending freeze also? Trying a spending freeze is to take so much discipline and willpower to do that. Think of it as a contentment challenge. But this is so difficult to do, but try doing it. Number 13 is DIY everything, meaning to say do it yourself. Do everything to yourself. You might actually save on cost instead of buying it, and you will also be using or exercising your creativity and your spatial skills. So number 14 is a repetition of item number 11. Number 15 is sell everything. That does not give you joy, of course. You should not sell your house because you will not be having your physiological needs. So sell everything means decluttering the things in your home that you don't need anymore. So you need to pare down. If you have watched the tiny house project in the Netflix, it requires the host requires the person to pare down the things that they do not actually use. So they sell it. And also during this pandemic, The Philippines or Filipinos enjoyed actually sell online. They enjoyed online selling until now. They still keep on online selling. They still keep on selling online. And Filipinos also have a penchant for buying in thrifts and store shops. And we call it in the Philippines ukay-ukay. The last one is to become patient. To be patient. You have to save until you have the cash for that car, home, appliance, vacation, or the like. Of course, you should be experiencing delayed gratification. And by definition, it is the act of resisting an impulse to take an immediately available reward in the hope of obtaining a more valued reward in the future. You should enforce a waiting period. You can set a target period for you to enforce that waiting period. So I leave a quote from T. Munger. He said that the habit of saving is itself an education. It fosters every virtue, teaches self denial, cultivates the sense of order, trains to forethought, and so broadens the mind. So, these are my sources. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Charmaine Pintes, for this wonderful and very comprehensive talk. Indeed, I'm sure that our participants have got so many e-takeaways for tonight, and I'm sure that they will have those e-takeaways be transferred onto their friends, their colleagues, by mentioning them in the comment section and by sharing this webinar. Thank you so much once again, Ma'am Charmaine Pintes,
Thank
for
you. It's
being
a
with us
pleasure.
tonight. It is our sincerest gratitude and, of course, our honor to have you as our speaker. So, at this juncture, I would like to encourage everyone to participate in the next part of this webinar, which is our quiz stage, wherein every participant or all participants are encouraged to participate by clicking on the link slido.com and using the code IGP quiz. So once again, you should type www.slido.com and use the code IGP quiz. Now please look at the link. It is located in the comment box. So for the leading participants for the upcoming quiz, 10 participants who will get the highest score will be able to acquire a quiz completion certificate. So do well, participants. Okay, so while we are waiting for our participants, once again, the link is in the comment box. And please use the code QuizIGP. Now, currently, we have many participants started joining our quiz for tonight. We have Ameline, Melinda, Melanie, Mikey, and Chanelin. Okay, so at this juncture, as we wait for the participants, once again, note that the quiz completion certificate is different from the webinar certificate that you will be able to acquire at the end of this webinar. So once again, let us now have our quiz for tonight. Okay, now we can start our quiz for tonight. Okay, at this point, we will now start our quiz. For our first question, this means that you are accountable for your future financial well being. Is it financial responsibility or is it financial accountability? Okay, and the answer for 62% is financial accountability, while the rest of the 38% answered financial responsibility. And the correct answer is okay, great. So we have the 38% correct answer, which is the financial responsibility. Now, congratulations to the first batch of participants in the leaderboard. So, congratulations to is it Monyandi Liason. The second question, this helps you improve your ability to handle financial matters. Is it your financial literacy or financial literacy? I think we have a sort of. Okay, so it helps improve your ability to handle financial matters. Okay, so we have 100% to be precise because both options include financial literacy. Great job, participants. For our leaderboard, we still have the same participant leading our quiz for today, followed by Marivic Clavesilia. Next question, what is the material well-being of the average person in a given population? Is your answer cost of living or is it the standard of living? You may now choose your answer. Now we have the result of your answers. 42% answered cost of living, and the rest of the 58% got the correct answer, which is standard of living. Good job, participants. We still have the same participant leading and followed by a new quiz participant, which is or who is Ruby. It is an asset acquired with the goal of generating income. What will be your answer? Is it business or investment? Once again, it is an asset acquired with the goal of generating income. You may choose your answer. And let us now see your answers. 81% answered investment, which is the correct answer. You are doing well, participants. Let's take a look at the leaderboard, still being headed by the same participants. We have Lason Munyandi. Okay, great job. Followed by a different participant right now, Joel A. Bernasor. Now, this is all about balance, perspective, knowledge, values, and no one person define what is important to one's happiness. Now, is your answer financial success or financial happiness? How one person defined what is important to one's happiness. Your answers are financial success, which is 72%. You are doing great, participants. It seems like you were really interested in the discussion earlier. And in the leaderboard, of course, still leading the same participant. Congratulations, you are doing well. Followed by a different participant right now, Melinda Civil Hispano. Okay, go participants, do your best. The use of regular income to provide basic lifestyle and savings is the base of the building blocks to achieving financial success. Is it yes or no? You may now choose your answer. Okay, so 65% answered yes, and the correct answer is no, which is composed of 15% of the participants' answers. Okay, now still in the leaderboard, Ma'am Melinda Sibil Hispano and to Liason Munyandi. Congratulations, keep it up. In building blocks to achieving financial success, managing all expenses, savings accounts, and contingency funds is a must. Do you believe is it a yes or do you believe it's a no? Now let's see your answers. 97%, I'm sorry, 92%, which answered correctly, answered yes. Great job. And still on the leaderboard and doing his very best, Lason Munyandi. Okay, great job. Still followed by Melinda Civil Hispano and Jamaline B. Rivera in the third rank. Investment and savings are synonymous to each other. Do you believe it's a yes or a no? Investment and savings are synonymous to each other. All right. So 63% answered yes, while 37% got the correct answer, which is no. Now let's take a look at the leaderboard, still being headed by the same participants. And we have at number 4, Mr. Lamberto Pilatan Jr. Now, this refers to the process of budgeting, saving, investing, spending, or overseeing the capital usage of the individual or a group. Is it a money management or financial management? Choose your answer now. Now, let's take a look at your answers. We have 82% answered financial management, while 16% answered money management, which is the correct answer. Now, let's take a look who is leading our leaderboard for tonight. Okay, still leading it, Mr. Lasion Munyandi. Great job, sir. Now, financial for the last question and personal satisfaction are the result of organized process called, is it business plan or is it personal money management? Financial and personal satisfaction are the result of organized process called, and now let's take a look at your answers. Okay, great. Now we have 85% who answered personal money management, which is the correct answer. Now let's take a look. Congratulations, Lason Moniandi, for heading our quiz for today. Now, once again, I would like to reiterate that our quiz completion certificate is different from the webinar certificate that you will acquire for tonight. Now, congratulations for the top 10 quiz competition winners. Right now, okay, at this point, we will proceed with the question and answer portion. Now, if you have any questions for our dear participants, our honored guest is here to be able to respond to your concerns. Now, you should type your question in the comment box as we wait for our speaker to join us. Once again, Okay, so while we are waiting for the questions, let's take time to like, once again, comment and share this great opportunity to grow by mentioning your friends and colleagues in the comment box and by sharing this webinar in your timeline. So once again, we are encouraging our participants to post their questions in the comment box and please address our dear honored speaker for tonight. Welcome again, Ma'am Charm, Pintes, Ma'am Charmaine.
Hello.
Okay, so we have one question from Ginalyn Villar Resurrection. Great evening, ma'am. What can you say about Ginvest? Thanks.
Ah, yes. I think I have already saw the G Invest. It's actually
Yes.
part of it's an online platform via GCash. It's one of a GCash investment or Globe Invest. Actually, I have tried three of their investments, and so far it is one of the it's considered one of the safe investments because of the it actually gives you a little amount of earnings or return. However, it is also a good investment. So if you invested a lot, probably your return will also be a lot.
Thank you, ma'am, for that very comprehensive answer. Now let us now have the next question. Okay, thank you for that question, Ma'am Ginalyn Villar, Resurrection. Appreciated. Now we are still waiting for the next one. We have from Ma'am Evelyn Waperi. Good evening, Ma'am Charmaine. What is the difference between finance and financial management, funding and financing? Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Evelyn. Regarding the question, finance actually deals with the money itself. It talks about the different money, may it be cash on hand or cash in bank. And when you say financial management, it actually involves a systematic process in handling your finances or your money. For funding, it is a type of sourcing out of your available funds, may it be from equity financing or from your debt or debt financing. Because in funding, there are two ways in order for you to source out cash. Maybe you want your own money or you borrow money from. And financing actually is also same as your funding.
Thank you so much. And now we have another question from AK Adhikari. How can we succeed money risk management?
Money risk management, actually money management is different than risk management. However, the successful money management techniques also would save you or would help you eliminate risk. So all you have to do is to make discipline yourselves in terms of budgeting, spending, and also you have to widen your horizons as to investment in order for such a risk will be prevented. So again, a while ago, I have made mention that you should not put your eggs in one basket. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sir AK Adhikari. And now let's have another question from our participants. From Joshua Diego. Good evening, ma'am. Is it okay or not okay to spend for distressing?
Actually, that's a good question. I also do that. When I'm a bit stressed, I tend to become stress eater. So sometimes I splurge. It's not bad to splurge, but you have to limit yourself. You have to spend on a certain limit, and it should not be done always. Once in a while will do.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Now that answer is also applicable for me. Thank you so much for that question, Joshua Diego. And for the next question from our participant, he has a follow-up. He said, you have advised us po to take risk and it could be by investing on cryptocurrency and stocks. With that, what smart tips you can share to us to avoid cryptocurrency scammers and stock fraud?
Actually, the best way for you to not be involved with risk is to research. Research. It is one way to help the quality of life. And sometimes we cannot do away with the different scammers around, but what we do is to also safeguard ourselves. So mind that if you do not know this a certain source of information, just you have to search it, and then you have to study, because if you find it doubtful, probably it's one of the scams. And in technology nowadays, it's easy to hack and to scam people. Now, please do not be deceived with the persuasion skills, because it can be too misleading. So I hope you can also differentiate what the deception and what are the true people or persons are, or their true initiatives or intention, I should say. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That is very informative. Once again, IGP would like to thank you for giving us your time and for sharing us your knowledge. Ma'am Charmaine P. Pintes, we now present you
Thank
your
you.
certificate for tonight's webinar. We would like to have you again some other time. Once again, thank you so much. Tonight we had
Thank
money
you.
management skills and saving tricks. Now, once again, our sincerest appreciation for tonight's speaker and the rest of the knowledge seekers who took time to join us for tonight. Now, don't forget to collect your e-certificate from our website or by the link mentioned below after the end of this session. Now, before we formally conclude this event, I would like to acknowledge all knowledge seekers who continuously inspire IGP to provide a quality webinar for all participants. I am confident and positively certain that today's session will be another step towards our growth. My worthy viewers, if you had gained an insightful knowledge and growth from today's session, please take time to leave a review of today's session and also recommend our page by sharing it to your friends, colleagues, and community. Again, I would like to remind everyone to collect their e-certificates from our website or by the link mentioned below after the end of this session. Now, after acquiring the certificate, please do not forget to celebrate with IGP by checking in our page and leaving a review. Now, we hope to see you all again in the upcoming webinar. Until then, thank you. Be safe and always spread positivity in life and career. Stay safe. And again, I am your host, Ellen Joy P. Ongriano, now signing off. Thank you and goodbye. Thank you, Ma'am Charmaine. Thank you, participants.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.